The history of the origin of the Samoyed dogs. The origin story of Samoyed dogs is not known for certain. Even with regard to their name, there are disagreements. According to the first version, the name of the dogs came from the similar name of the people who became the progenitor of the modern Nenets. Samoyed, in this case, comes from the word Samoyed, that is, self-united, fixated on itself. This can be justified by the territorial isolation of the Nenets people. Another name is literal, that is, literally he rides himself. The Samoyeds, in fact, were used as draft dogs, which independently rolled the sled and obeyed the owner unquestioningly. There is a version that the snow-white dogs were not visible in the snow, so it seemed that the team pulled by the Samoyeds was driving by itself. There is another version of the origin of the name of the Samoyeds, Samjedna, which literally means land of the Sami people. Samoyeds are dogs bred by the Nenets people for their needs. Savvy dogs had to carry sleds, cargo, warm and cold weather, guard the herds of deer, and follow the man. According to one version, the Samoyeds were brought to Europe by the Englishman Joseph Wiggens, who was engaged in trade relations with Siberia, although this fact has not been confirmed by experts. The history of the Samoyed breed goes back centuries, therefore it is very difficult to reliably establish the origin of the breed, and there is almost no evidence of its existence over time. Another version says that the dogs came to England in 1889 thanks to Ernest Scott, who organized a nursery for an outlandish breed. Due to their qualities, the Samoyeds began to gain popularity in Europe. Even King Edward VII had Samoyed huskies that held a privileged position. In 1920, the first Samoyed association in England was organized, which established breed standards. Much later, the dogs came to the USSR, only by 1989 they were exported from Denmark. Today the Samoyeds are one of the most popular dog breeds that have spread throughout the world. Samoyed dog, breed description. The Samoyed Laika has two varieties of the breed, bear and wolf. They differ in insignificant constitutional parameters. The wolf Samoyed is more elongated and lighter, with a narrow head and a long body. The bearish subtype has a shorter powerful body, shorter and flatter head. Interesting fact, the breed standard was described back in 1988 by the English Kennel Club. Adult Samoyed males should weigh between 25 and 30 kilograms, while adult bitches weigh less 17 to 23 kilograms. Height at withers 53 to 55 centimeters. The length of the body should not exceed the height of the dog by more than 5%, that is, the dog is almost square. The skull of a Samoyed Laika has a wedge-shaped shape, rather powerful and dense. There is a large distance between the ears with smooth short hair. The muzzle is not long, tapering towards the nose. The Samoyeds have well-defined black lips that form a smile. The eyes are almond-shaped, set wide, have a black rim, slightly sharpened at the corners. The nose of the Samoyed Laika is black, the lobe is developed. Sometimes the nose can be pink, red or brown, but a black outline is required. Samoyed ears are of medium length, slightly rounded at the end, covered with thick hair from the inside and outside, always erect. A scissor bite is a must for this breed. The neck is strong, short and slightly bent. The Samoyed Laika has a strong straight back, which is slightly longer in bitches than in males. The loin is pronounced, muscular, the pelvis is strong and slightly sloping. Wide and deep chest. The front legs are of medium length, set on the edges of the chest, the toes are pressed tightly together. The hind legs are slightly laid back, very strong and muscular, set parallel to each other. The tail is long and very fluffy, when the dog is in a good mood it bends slightly over the back or sideways. Popular colors of Samoyed dogs. The wool of Samoyed Laikas is unique in its kind. It is an Arctic, thick and fluffy fur designed for very low temperatures. The undercoat of the Samoyed is thick, more like goose down. The axial coat is long, straight, but soft. Around the neck on the shoulders there is a wide fluffy collar that forms a ring. The head and paws of the dog are covered with even, slightly shorter hair. It is very soft and smooth, in contrast to the rougher body coat. The hind legs, in particular the thighs, are covered with a furry layer that resembles pants. Even between the fingers, which are tightly pressed against each other, there is dense hair. The color of the Samoyeds, at first glance, is very monotonous, white. In fact, dog handlers recognize several colors of Samoyeds, which are almost impossible to distinguish from each other with the naked eye. Namely, these are the colors. Matte white. It is a white structured coat with no sheen. Glossy white. The hairs are hollower, due to which the wool shimmers in the sun. White with a blue tint. Cooler shade. White with red tint. In the light, the dog resembles a small flame, light fawn color, barely noticeable Samoyed red tint. Many dog hairs have a silvery tinge, which makes them appear to sparkle a little. This color is due to the habitat of Samoyed dogs, the harsh Arctic regions, where they merge with the snow and let the sunlight through themselves. The nature and habits of Samoyed dogs. Samoyed Lycas are very friendly and affectionate dogs that have an affable, docile nature. They are good as emotional companions, fit easily into families and quickly gain popularity. They are ready to communicate, quickly find a common language with people, and behave very delicately. At the same time, they do not impose their attention, although they can become depressed if there is not enough communication with them. Samoyeds are kind, not only to family members, but to everyone around them. They are ready to get acquainted with other people and animals, never show unreasonable aggression, are open to communication and friendly. If its owner is constantly busy, then the Samoyed will look for friends on their own. This is prompted by a strong flock instinct. Samoyeds are easy to train because they are intelligent enough and do not possess the stubbornness inherent in some dog breeds. It is extremely rare for dogs to show willfulness. In this case, a qualified trainer will find an approach to them. Interesting fact, Samoyeds are very active as they are instilled with the instinct of a hunter. This makes Samoyed huskies playful animals that are ready to run a lot and hunt for improvised prey. Thanks to such character traits, Samoyeds get along well with children. They will never bite or offend a child, and if they don't like something, they will just try to get away from the irritant. Samoyeds can be watchmen, but you should not start it for this purpose. First of all, these are companion dogs, which are aimed at communicating with people and accompanying a person emotionally, and not at some kind of practical training. Interesting facts about Samoyed dogs. The Samoyed breed of dog has been used for a variety of purposes. Transportation of goods and sledges is just one of the many tasks of the Samoyeds in front of a person. For example, Samoyeds were used for hunting both small game and large animals. They hunted walruses and even polar bears. Samoyeds don't just get along well with children. For centuries, these dogs warmed children with their warm fur and fiddled with them until the parents had time for it. In fact, Samoyed huskies served as nannies. Due to the fact that people often slept with Samoyed huskies, they have a number of characteristics if a person takes them to sleep in his bed. For example, dogs lie motionless and are afraid to wake a person, and if they are going to leave or roll over, they do it very carefully. Samoyed wool can be used to make warm clothes, mittens, hats, scarves, and socks. This wool is excellent in winter. In this case, the hair does not need to be sheared, it is easy to comb out from the dog. Due to the peculiarities of the structure of the muzzle, Samoyed dogs seem to always smile. This makes the breed even more popular with breeders. Samoyed dogs love to bark with or without reason. They especially often bark, howl and squeal when they lack attention. This makes the Samoyed husky one of the noisiest breeds. This behavior is justified by the fact that in the conditions of the far north, dogs regularly talk to each other using their voice. Sound contractions have a warming effect on them. It may seem that the Samoyed coat requires a lot of maintenance, daily washing and combing several times a day. Indeed, you need to care for it carefully, but the structure of the Samoyed hair allows the wool to self-cleaning, and it repels most of the dirt. Pros and cons of Samoyed dogs. Like any other dog, Samoyeds have their own pros and cons that should be considered before starting a puppy of this breed. The pluses of the Samoyed husky include patience. Dogs are comfortable with children's games, even if the child drags them by the tail and ears. The Samoyeds are similarly patient with other animals wishing to play with them. And if a medium-sized dog treats the Samoyed with aggression, the Samoyed Lyca will prefer to gently ignore the bully. Sociability. Samoyed huskies easily get along with other animals, make contact with people, are always ready to be near a person and enjoy communication. Calm character. Despite their sociability, Samoyeds are not hyperactive, but calm and measured. Samoyeds do not need special food, they are rather unpretentious in food. The Samoyeds have strong immunity. They tolerate low temperatures especially well and can even live on the street and not in a house or apartment. The disadvantages of a Samoyed husky include these dogs need grooming more than any other dog. Samoyeds need to be washed and combed out with special brushes and also cut regularly. Samoyed dogs are very noisy. They love to bark, howl, screech, and make other sounds. Even with normal human interaction, they can speak with a voice and not with gesture signals, as many other dogs do. Samoyed huskies are bad guards. Because of their friendliness, they can let strangers very close. Likewise, they will not defend their master by attacking offenders. Samoyed Lyca puppies are quite expensive. Breeding Samoyed dogs. Samoyed Lyca bitch starts flowing at 6 to 12 months. It happens twice a year, but the duration is difficult to predict, from 7 to 28 days. All this time the Samoyed Lyca can become pregnant. The first 3 estrus should be skipped, and after the 3rd heat you can start mating. The Samoyed husky's estrus has 3 stages. For the first few days, she does not perceive males, although they show interest in her. At the 2nd stage, she is ready for mating. This is about 5 to 7 days after the onset of estrus. In a week she will again be negative about attention from the males, mating will be impossible. Breeders allow a Samoyed bitch to mate only when she is at least 18 months old and a dog from 15 months. At this age, dogs can give the most productive and healthy offspring. Since pregnancy is a huge stress for the body and a load on the immune system and internal organs, only healthy and strong dogs should give birth. The pregnancy of a Samoyed husky lasts about 63 days. During this time, the dog gains a lot of weight, becomes lazy and inactive. It is necessary to walk her more often so that she does not develop heart problems, but at the same time, in no case, should the dog be overloaded so that she does not get overwork and stress. If the bitch refuses to eat or her body temperature rises, see your veterinarian. In the second half of pregnancy, small discharge of green or yellow is possible. This indicates that childbirth is close. The day before giving birth, the dog begins to fuss, whine and bark. Breathing quickens, she often goes to the toilet, is constantly thirsty. Sometimes Samoyeds, like other dogs, go through a false pregnancy. This is a situation where the dog has not been fertilized but behaves as if it is pregnant. She may even have contractions, but she will not produce puppies. In case of a false pregnancy, it is worth consulting a veterinarian. It is also advisable to entrust childbirth to a veterinarian, although Samoyed huskies have good health and may well give birth themselves. Caring for Samoyed dogs. Samoyeds are not particularly whimsical to the conditions of detention, especially if you are buying a dog for a private home. They are able to live outdoors in an aviary even in winter, and this option is more comfortable for dogs than living in an apartment. They are perfectly adapted to cold weather, but they do not tolerate heat well. Plus, dogs require a lot of space. If your Samoyed Laika lives in an apartment, follow these guidelines. From an early age, the puppy should know his place. Organize a comfortable soft bed that will serve as a bed for the dog. The Samoyed should be combed out at least 3 times a week, preferably every day. For combing out, hard brushes with sparse teeth are used, which are able to comb out a thick undercoat. If you want the top coat of your dog's coat to look great, you should also use a natural bristle brush. After walking, you need to not only wash your paws, but also treat them with a soft cream. The Samoyeds do not tolerate asphalt and hard surfaces very well. Ears and teeth need to be brushed and nails trimmed as soon as they start clicking on the floor. Bathing the Samoyed too often is not worth it. As a rule, once every 2 weeks is enough, especially if the dog is not purposefully dirty. Samoyeds should not be left alone for a long time, as they may become depressed. The Samoyed should be walked twice every day. The walk should last at least 1 hour. The dogs need to move, play and run a lot. Although Samoyeds are very fluffy dogs, they do not require as much grooming as the Afghan hounds do. It is enough just to comb them and wash them with special shampoos and conditioners. Diet of Samoyed dogs. As is the case with other dog breeds, Samoyeds can be fed with homemade food or purchased ready-made dry food. This is the choice of the dog owner. In any case, the food should be balanced and healthy, otherwise the pet risks getting sick. Only premium food is suitable for Samoyeds. It must be specially formulated for this breed, otherwise you risk choosing an unbalanced feed again. If it is not possible to choose food for the breed, then give preference to food for large and active dogs. To compose a menu for a Samoyed yourself, you must definitely consult with a specialist. Homemade food can be good or bad for your 4-legged friend. It is necessary to strictly observe the ratio of all products so as not to harm the dog. If the food is chosen incorrectly, the dog becomes less active, his coat dulls, he is reluctant to walk and rarely goes to the toilet. Foods that are allowed for a Samoyed dog: beef, chicken and turkey, both sea and ocean fish, but without bones, raw or frozen, low-fat kefir, yogurt, cottage cheese, yogurt and fermented baked milk are suitable from dairy products. Samoyeds are very fond of vegetables, both raw and boiled. You can give simple fruits, apples and pears. Samoyeds should not be given exotic fruits. Fruit should not be a daily diet, but a reward for behavior or training. Foods that should not be given to Samoyed dogs. They do not digest carrots well, so in large quantities it is contraindicated for Samoyeds. Whole milk is also prohibited for Samoyeds. Bakery products, sweet, pasta, fatty pork, lamb, fresh and steamed veal, boiled bones, beets, potatoes, sugar and salt, various spices, sweet and chocolate. Diseases and health problems. Samoyed dogs have strong immunity and good health, so diseases can appear only for a number of objective reasons: age, improper care, rare congenital pathologies. Interesting fact, most often, dogs suffer from diseases of the endocrine system, namely, hypothyroidism, in which the functions of the thyroid gland are disrupted. Because of this, the metabolism slows down, the animal gains weight, its state of health gradually worsens, hair falls out, and sensitivity to cold appears. Sometimes bitches from 4 years old suffer from hypothyroidism. Diabetes mellitus is also a common disease associated with a lack of insulin. Samoyeds begin to drink a lot of water, lose weight, constantly go to the toilet and are hungry. In the later stages, vomiting, weakness begins, and cataracts develop. Older animals are most often affected by diabetes. A portosystemic shunt occurs in many large dogs. The blood circulation in the liver is disturbed and harmful substances accumulate in the blood, which adversely affect the internal organs of the dog. In severe cases, the dog gains weight and falls into a coma. It is treated only under the supervision of a veterinarian. The Samoyeds also have hip dysplasia, which is inherited and has varying degrees of manifestation. In the worst case, the disease can lead to arthritis. Many northern dog breeds suffer from this disease. Congenital deafness is sometimes found among Samoyed likas. Also, dogs often have bloating, sometimes developing into volvulus. In general, Samoyeds are not difficult to treat, diseases are easily diagnosed, and, as a rule, do not spill over into severe forms. Samoyed dog. Price and how to buy it correctly. To choose a Samoyed puppy, you need to pay attention to the features that are characteristic of this particular breed. First of all, it is worth assessing how costly the Samoyed maintenance will be, as well as assessing the financial capabilities in general. In addition to feeding, you will often have to use the services of a groomer. It is always worth paying attention to the puppy's parents, but especially if you plan to raise a sports dog. For example, the bear type of Samoyed is not suitable for a sled dog, they have short legs and a massive body. It is necessary to select lighter, long-legged parents. Important fact, if you want to perform at shows with your Samoyed, then you need to look for puppies only from champion breeders. It is desirable that the puppy's pedigree is international. This means that the dogs have passed any examination and received the approval of specialists for mating. If you want to raise a puppy as an athlete or a champion, then there are a number of signs that you should pay attention to. You shouldn't buy a puppy if he is too timid or aggressive, his eyes are blue or multicolored, they are only black among the Samoyeds, he has a malocclusion in his jaw, the puppy has hanging ears, this sign is worth looking at on adult dogs, the color is not white. The paws of a 2-month-old puppy are strictly parallel to each other, they are not crooked and do not look in different directions. No extra fingers, the puppy moves easily. A furry friend will cost, depending on the prestige of the breeder, from $200 to $800 US. Ask the breeder for a certificate of testing for diseases and viruses so that the puppies are guaranteed to be free of hereditary diseases. Experienced breeders can tell you which puppy you should take for a particular purpose. Typically, 2-month-old puppies are strong enough to have a new home. The Samoyed dog, with proper upbringing and care, can be a wonderful friend and partner in your family.